So 2024 has been an absolutely fantastic year. I hit 1,000 subscribers, had videos that got me 20,000, 15,000 views. Two things straight off the bat that I never imagined I would ever experience. But that was last year, and we're into 2025 now, and I just wanted to relax, have a really chilled video and just let you know, talk about what's coming up, what's going to be happening in 2025. And I'm not going to be talking about the numbers. I'm not setting myself goals for, X amount of subscribers or a video with X amount of views, because to be honest, whatever happens will happen. I'm enjoying it nonetheless. I'm enjoying everything about my YouTube channel currently, and I just want to kind of expand on it and take it further. So the first thing for me is streaming. It's what I was doing when I first started. It's something that I did way back in the day quite a lot too, and it's something I really want to get back into. And to put it bluntly, I just don't have the time currently. So my plan in the near future is to start streaming. Maybe even if it's just once a week for an hour or two, just to get back into the swing of things. Just kind of get the ball rolling on it. And as I said, I just don't have the time. That'll lead into something else that I'm going to be talking about in a little bit in the video. But so streaming is definitely the first thing. Another thing that I would like to explore or go for more is just tougher, longer and rarer platinums. All of my platinums, don't get me wrong, there are some long ones in there. I have now got a few what people would class as rarer platinums throughout the last year, to be honest. But I want to go deeper. I want to tackle tougher games. I want to tackle games that break 100 hours, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 difficulty, rather than all of the style of games that I've currently done. Ignore like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, relatively easy game but took me 75 hours. One Piece Odyssey, relatively easy game, took me 65 hours. The Division, not The Division, Tom Clancy's what's it called? The really cacky one that nobody liked but I loved it. Execute, no. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't even think of what it is. The Division 2, we'll just say that. But yeah, over 100 hours altogether, all gameplay. Loved my time with it. But I want to tackle some bigger, beefier ones. And of course with that I want to then turn those into YouTube videos as well. I recently platinumed a game called Farmagia. Not many people will have heard of it. I think I was the 22nd person to earn the platinum trophy. Took me 50 hours. Wasn't very difficult at all. But I just felt like, it was a platinum that I'd earned rather than, let's say a game like, I don't know, Spyro. 8 hours of childlike gameplay kind of thing. Nothing against those type of platinums. I just would like to have a bigger swing towards the longer, more difficult type. So both for videos and for my own personal accounts, to be honest. Another thing that I want to kind of look into in the near future, or I've already kind of started, is I do want to put more focus on and upskilling my editing. Editing's always been something that I've been awful at. I was a little bit behind everybody else. When I first started, I was still using a very, very old software. Sony Movie Maker or Movie Studio 16, I think it was. And yeah, I overused that. I used to use that back when I used to make Football Manager videos 5 years ago. And I was still using it when I first started making platinum videos on this channel. I've now, I say upgraded. I'm now using DaVinci Resolve, which obviously isn't the greatest, but it does the job. And there are a lot of things on it that I can do now that I couldn't on the old editing. Even if I don't move on to anything better, the plan is to basically just edit better videos. Speaking of videos, I want to start including like face cam more, and you know, if I do start streaming, potentially using like the live footage in the videos. I just think it would open up like a new avenue. I feel like current style, with it being very much like, you know, no cam, just me talking into the microphone over the top of gameplay, it kind of doesn't really give me much to play with. I know that there's a lot more that I could do, but I feel like if I had that option, it would give me a lot more to play with. And I mean, even if my face is on the screen, I could still talk over myself and cut out my own audio, if you know. And the last point for YouTube, at least off the top of my head, my mind's constantly running. I might think of something else before the end of this video, but in terms of YouTube, something else I would love to do in the near future is to do more collabs. As it stands, I've only really done, at least on my channel, off the top of my head, I think only one other content creator. I know I've definitely done things with numerous content creators, and I will give them a quick shout out here. Mr. Leaning Versus, of course, Platinum Opus, Defroth, and Costromo. And of course, you know, in the future, I hope to do more collabs with more people. You know, working or you know, creating content alongside other like-minded people. It's especially, like, you know, if they're a good person, they have a good personality, like the four I've just mentioned. Absolutely fantastic people, fantastic personalities. All four of them have me rolling on the floor laughing repeatedly, like genuinely good times whenever I do catch up with them. But I would like to make more collabs in the near future, so that is something that I will be looking forward to potentially pursuing in 2025. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about real life. I say like you know, YouTube isn't real life, but you know, in reality, I'm a quite a private person, and I like to keep, you know, I will talk about things from reality, but I try to keep it on a level. So the first thing is I need something new in terms of work wise. I'm currently working, I'm not going to say where I'm working, but I'm currently working long shifts, and it's quite far away from home. So I say quite far away from home, it's 22 miles, but obviously factoring in traffic and everything, some days it can take me an hour and a half to get to work. Usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to get home because there's no traffic. But so if you factor that kind of commute on top of a 10.5 hour shift that I currently do 4 days a week, you're talking 13, 14 hour days on a bad day. So that doesn't really give me as much time as I would like at home. So I would like to find something new, like job wise, maybe less hours, shorter days, like maybe go back to 5 days a week. And I currently work 1:30 in the afternoon until 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 11:30 on the night. You know, the times are a bit crap. and this ties in also with my plan is to spend more time with my family. I've got a 3-year-old son now. I say now. I've always, well, not always had a son. I've had a son for 3 years, but he hasn't always been 3 years old. But he's 3 years old now. And of course, he's becoming more and more verbal. He's able to do more and more things, and he's very much a daddy's boy. Like, any time that I'm at home, he wants to be by my side. If it's bedtime, he wants me to take him upstairs and read him a story. And I'm not complaining about that in the slightest. I love it, but I would like to be able to do it more. And currently, 4 nights a week, I'm unable to do it because I'm at work. So that's a second thing that I would like to, take on in the future. Another one is, to put it bluntly, my own personal health. I don't know. Let me just reposition. So I don't know if you're watching this, if you've ever seen my trophy list reviews, but there were certain videos where they lasted for a certain amount of time, and my voice would just start going, my throat would start hurting, and long story short, I went to the doctors and it was like, yeah, you need to take better care of yourself. So that is my plan for this year, to start looking after myself a little bit better. I mean, I say this as I am currently chugging on a big can of Red Bull, but in my defense, that's the first Red Bull I've had in like a week. Whereas before, I would have a big can of Red Bull every single night. I think I've got pictures somewhere. I'll probably include one on this video. Like, that's how many cans I actually removed from my game room. So yeah, so I've already made some improvements, but I do want to make further improvements. Start drinking more water, start eating a little bit more healthy rather than constant takeaways. Potentially knock vaping on the head. I moved from smoking cigarettes to vaping. Obviously, it's still bad for you, but it's better than the actual cigarettes. But knocking that on the head would also improve. And to be honest, even though, like, if I don't know how this is going to work, but if I stand up currently, so let my camera refocus, which is something else I'll be talking about shortly. So I'm not a big guy. I come in mini form, as I like to call it. I'm 5'10" and a bit. I've always been skin and bone. Over the last few years, I've started to put a bit of chunk on, and don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bit of chunk, but I feel like just recently I might have put just a little bit too much on for my liking. And to be honest, I was contemplating, and I might still do this. I don't know. I don't know if anyone would ever be interested in it, or if it could even work. But I was considering a while back, like maybe mixing up, like gaming and like working out. So like playing a game, and any time that I die or miss a trophy, something stupid like that, I then have to go and do 50 press-ups or 50 sit-ups, something along those lines, and making a video out of it. It's still there in the back of the mind. Maybe one day I'll get onto it, who knows. And then, okay, so I was about to say the last one, but I have thought of one. And another one is my camera. So when I first started, I had a Logitech, I think it was called a 920. And it was supposed to be HD, but it absolutely looked like a potato whenever I press record. And I've upgraded since to a, can't even remember what the model make is, but it's Razer. And don't get me wrong, at times it looks absolutely fantastic. But I don't know if it's done it since I've been recording this video. Every so often, it's weird. It's like it can't focus on what it's supposed to be recording. And I've seen from footage, there are times when it looks very grainy and granular, and it really shouldn't. It's full HD, 60 frames per second, the whole shaboodle. Obviously it's not the best thing ever, otherwise it would have been out of my price range. But the plan is to, in the future at some point, upgrade the camera, especially as it is causing me issues. There's been days where I have not recorded a trophy list review because my PC or my camera doesn't recognise that it's plugged in. Everything else on my PC is running, but it doesn't recognise that the camera's there. So that's something that I want to upgrade in the near future. And speaking of upgrades, my games room. So when I first started, I had my desk set up like in a way where I couldn't have my camera on face on. I couldn't have it. The only way I could have my camera was if I like proper swung it all the way around and had it recording me from the side like that. And that was because my games room is actually like open to the rest of the house. So if anyone walked past or if anyone was doing something in the other room, they could be seen on the camera. And of course, I don't want that. So I moved my room around, and I love having all my games behind me. But as you can see, I've run out of space now. There is a second bookshelf that is full. I have more games here and more games here. Like, I have just run completely out of space. So the plan is I'm going to get some of them Billy bookshelves that all the top dogs have. And you can't see it, but over in that direction there is a long wall, and I want to have the 3 Billy bookshelves across that wall. Would give me more than enough space so I can continue collecting games and other media. I have slowly started dabbling in Blu-rays, only for things that I really want. And for Christmas just gone, I don't know where she got it from, but my girlfriend brought me a Sega Mega Drive, so potentially going to go down the retro route of collecting at some point. God help me. But yeah, so my plan is to not have this as my background for forever, long story short. Also, just to get my shit together. That little green box there is a digital clock. I brought that, I think, about 4 or 5 months ago. I still haven't put it on the wall. Just because I don't want to put the knock the nail in or whatever into the wall, hang it all up, and then potentially change my room around. Because the idea is to potentially turn my desk 180 so that when I have got those Billy bookshelves across that wall, that's the view you will see. But there's a lot to do in here, and that is another thing that I'm going to plan on for 2025. And I think that is pretty much it, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not talking about numbers here. I'm just genuinely really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm loving interacting with every single view and comment. Yeah, it's just been a really enjoyable 2024, my first full calendar year on YouTube, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and seeing what magic I can experience, what magic I could potentially create. And also, just putting more effort, more time into it. Like, I'm saying this like I'm not putting effort in. I am, but I want to put so much more into it, and I feel like if certain things line up, I could potentially do that. But anyway, that's going to be it for this, and who knows, maybe we'll revisit this video in another year's time, and I can be like, did that, I sucked at that. Who knows? But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and peace.